Hey crypto family. So today we're going to talk about why everything's been declining, the recent Binance hack, some SEC news, and some Coinbase news. So if you could give the video a like, it helps grow the channel and just make us bigger and just grow as a community. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So Bitcoin right now is down over 10% to $9,679. So if you look at the chart here, we can see it's had a steep decline the past couple of days. These are some support levels I drew, and you can see right as they fell through those, I mean, they just kept going. And the most recent one it's touched is 9,400. So on this hourly chart here, you can see if you go back down to February 25th, you can see 2 times it touched this $9,400 level. So as long as we stay above this, around between 92 to 9,400, as long as we hold that, then I could see us bouncing onward and, retesting these previous support levels here as currently resistance levels. So again, the RSI is very oversold. It's been down in this level for the past day, and so I do see us bouncing up fairly soon. One of these guys here, his name is M. Pavlovsky, good friend of mine. Definitely recommend following him on Twitter. He's done a lot of charting analysis on Bitcoin, has been spot on a lot of the times, and he's definitely calling for just 1 or 2 more days of retracement, and then we're going to have a good bull run. So again, just keep an eye on that. Again, trade accordingly. This isn't financial advice, just my opinion, but I do think, from the sharp sell-off we had, that we are going to have a bounce in the next couple of days, 2 to 3 days. So again, we'll keep an eye on that and, trade accordingly. So with that, we're going to talk about the recent Binance hack that happened today. So if you're on Twitter and you're following Binance, the CEO, he was tweeting 10 hours ago. He tweeted, "All funds are safe. There were irregularities in trading activity. Automatic alarms triggered. Some accounts may have been compromised by phishing from before. We're still investigating. All funds are safe." So they're communicating. They're very transparent. He tweeted again, "We have localized the irregular trades. They will be reversed. All funds are safe. Thanks to the false alarm. Please learn to secure your accounts against phishing." So one of the main things I want to talk about this before I go into what exactly happened is always make sure you have 2-factor authentication enabled. Some people say it's a pain. They don't want to have to use their phone to unlock their account every time they log in. But this is one of the security methods. While it's not foolproof, it's just one extra layer of security to keep your account safe. So again, always make sure you're using that. And then if you're using like bots to trade or anything, again, be wary of using those. So I just want to point out that before I go on to exactly what happened, and you'll see what I mean here. So they released an article and it said summary of the phishing and attempted stealing incident on Binance. So long story short, I don't think anyone got affected. They were able to stop the withdrawals once, the hackers got to the accounts. But basically it says, within this 2-minute period, the VIA BTC market experienced abnormal trading activity. Our automatic risk management system was triggered and all withdrawals were halted immediately. So the VIA coin, if y'all paid attention to it today, it was the coin that was targeted in the hack. So basically, hackers, they were keeping track of a lot of people's accounts. Basically, they created false Binance website. So they just changed like a couple dotted letters in the Binance website, and then whenever people logged on to that fake website, put in their account info, the hackers just kept that info for a couple of weeks. And it says, basically, around February 22nd, where a heavy concentration of phishing attacks were seen using Unicode domains looking very much like Binance.com. So basically, they just kept gathering all these accounts from people logging into this fake Binance site. And then it says the hackers used the API keys, placed a large number of market buys on the VIA BTC market, pushing the price high, while 31 pre-deposited accounts were there selling VIA at the top. This was an attempt to move the Bitcoin from the phished accounts to the 31 accounts. Withdrawal requests were then attempted from these accounts immediately afterwards. And this is what I love here. It says, however, as withdrawals were already automatically disabled by our risk management system, none of the withdrawals successfully went out. Additionally, the VIA coins deposited by the hackers were also frozen. So it says not only did the hacker not steal any coins out, their own coins have also been withheld. So I thought that was hilarious. Basically, the hackers lost their own coins. So they actually didn't gain anything from this hack. So you can see if you look at the VIA coin, if you look on the 1-day chart here, I mean, it went from 276 all the way up to 679 within a couple minutes. I mean, this was over 100% spike because they used all those accounts that they hacked to immediately, buy the Bitcoin, then try to profit from that. And when they try to withdraw it, Binance stopped it. So this was a failed attempt by the hackers. All the accounts are safe and no withdrawals were able to be made. So kudos to the Binance team for getting this right away. And again, being super transparent with what happened. So Binance has always been really transparent, and I think they are the leading standard right now for what exchanges should be. So again, kudos to them, and I'm so glad to see no one got hurt by this hack, and it was just a short-term, spike here. And Viacoin was chosen, I believe, because it was one of the lower volume coins, so it was much easier to pump. So they were pretty much, trying to get the hype going on this, so it, rise faster because it has low supply. And it was a popular coin, not too long ago. So I think that's why they chose that versus, Litecoin or Ether or something, because it would take a lot more capital to raise that price. So, but yeah, so that was crazy today. But again, kudos for the Binance team for, stopping that hack. So the next news, this one's a little older. It was on March 4th, but I just want to bring it up, kind of bring everyone up to date on what's been going on recently. So basically the SEC sent 80 subpoenas to different cryptocurrency firms, including the TechCrunch fund. And basically what a subpoena is you're required to appear in court, and it's not necessarily a negative thing, but basically the SEC wants to, because we already know they've wanted to put in regulations and everything for cryptocurrencies, and especially now as they're starting, billions and billions of dollars are coming into the market, they really want to start regulating it. And basically they want to see if, exchanges are, if they do have basically like, unregistered securities. So what it says here is they issued over 80 subpoenas, and it says it remains undetermined whether securities laws apply to digital coins. While the SEC says digital coins are subject to regulations, it has not indicated how digital coin developers can comply with the regulations. So basically, of course the company said they'll work with the SEC, but again, this is kind of to get the rules straight and to communicate with them and make sure they're doing everything, legally. So I wouldn't necessarily see this as a negative thing. I just see this as, okay, they're starting to want to bring out regulations now, and they just want to work with exchanges, similar to, kind of how in South Korea, they wanted to, stop some of the illegal activities, anonymous accounts and all that. So I see this as being pretty much the same thing. So I think this was some FUD that started, the market on a decline. But another one that people kind of panicked about, it's this article by CNBC. It says Bitcoin just tanked below 10,000 after SEC says crypto exchanges must register with agency. And it says the SEC said in a statement Wednesday, the 6th, that online platforms trading digital assets are considered securities need to register with the agency. And then it says Bitcoin quickly fell 10% amid the concerns about increased regulation. So they mentioned here there was an SEC statement, and it says if a platform offers trading of digital assets that are securities and operates as an exchange, as defined by the federal securities law, then the platform must register with the SEC as a national securities exchange or be exempt from registration. And basically they say that, they had concerns that many platforms appear to investors as SEC registered, but they aren't. And then many platforms refer to themselves as exchanges, which gives the misinterpretation to investors that they are regulated or meet the regulatory standards of a national securities exchange. So the SEC is basically saying there's, some false representation going on, and newer investors aren't aware that these exchanges aren't registered by the SEC. So again, they just want to make sure that those exchanges are being compliant and everything. And again, not necessarily a bad thing. They're just trying to make everything safer. So again, some more FUD that was being spread and stuff. But overall, I don't think this is bad news. They're not saying ban cryptocurrencies. They're just saying make sure, they follow the rules and they're registered and all that. So take that what you will. Again, long term, I see this being positive. And going over some last news here. So for those who were wondering what the Coinbase news was that happened yesterday, basically Coinbase met with, on CNBC Fast Money, they met with the Ripple CEO and a couple other people. And that's when people thought, Ripple is going to get listed. Then Coinbase debunked that, said they're not listing any altcoin soon. But Coinbase basically announced that they are eyeing a Bitcoin ETF with their new cryptocurrency index fund. So Coinbase is going to launch an index fund, but the caveat is it's only available to U.S. accredited investors or those who have an annual income of at least $200,000 or a net worth of at least $1 million. But Coinbase is hoping to launch a similar fund available to all investors regardless of wealth, likely structured as an exchange-traded fund or ETF, pending regulatory approval. So basically what this index fund is, it's a way for high net worth individuals to get involved in cryptocurrencies that want a safe alternative versus just going on any random exchange. So it acts kind of like an ETF where this fund is just going to be invested into the 4 coins that are on Coinbase and GDAX. So basically you have Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. And the portfolio percentage is based on the percentage of market capitalization that the coin has. So of course, Bitcoin being the highest, that's going to be the biggest portion of your portfolio, then, Ethereum and et cetera. So they mentioned here that it says, over the past year, the fund would have returned about 995% or an increase of nearly 11-fold. Bitcoin alone, by comparison, returned about 754%. Now, again, this is kind of skewed because over the past year was the biggest year we had in cryptocurrencies. So I don't think you're going to see 1,000% gains in a year. But again, there's still a lot of growth for cryptocurrencies, but I think it's kind of, over extending it a little bit here, saying you're going to get, 1,000% over the next 12 months, at least what they're implying. So, but again, I think it's good because at least it's trying to get more people invested into cryptocurrencies. And it says they're working on an ETF. Now, ETFs, people have tried to apply for those and, they've been shot down. But I think in the near future, we will see a Bitcoin ETF. And I think it's going to cause a lot more people to get invested into cryptocurrencies because then they won't have to be, just accredited investors. They can be anyone. So that's when we'll really see a lot of the money come in. So... But yeah, so, just again, little by little, they're adding more and more stuff for cryptocurrencies. And, I think it's just increase access to a lot more people and pretty much, get us more in the mainstream. So I think it's good. Any expansion in the cryptocurrency space, I think is definitely positive news. So, and last but not least, this was a tweet by a guy. His name is Bitcoin BS. I don't follow him, but he had a good tweet that I liked. And he said, in a few hours or days, everyone will realize the SEC news means your coins will be safer, Binance hasn't been hacked, and Japan only wants to improve crypto by punishing bad exchanges. Take advantage of these emotional dumps. So I think this is important because a lot of people panic during times like this when they see Bitcoin declining so much and, they panic sell. And that's where you lose your money because, if you have a long-term vision of, okay, I know Bitcoin is going to be, 30, 40,000 by the end of the year, you can't get spooked by these drops. Now, of course, you can play them if you're expecting a drop, and sell and attempt to buy lower, it's not bad. But again, if you're just a long-term holder, don't panic on these dips here because, again, it's just a lot of the whales trying to scare you out. A lot of this news, this FUD coming out. Don't panic. And again, it's just the whales trying to shake people out so they can get these cheaper coins. Because again, there's still a very, very small amount of people who are invested compared to the world population. So we still haven't even gotten mainstream yet. So I think, again, once we get mainstream, we're going to be well over 30, 40, 50,000. So just keep that in mind. And, like I said, I see us maybe, a couple more days, 1 or 2 more days of retracements or consolidation here. Then I see us, on another bull run again. But yeah, just keep that in mind. And again, there's been a ton of good news coming out, so I don't think any of this news is negative. Again, I think it's just the market cycle again, and just again, whales trying to get some cheap coins. So keep an eye on these support levels here, and hopefully we'll see it rise in the next couple of days. But if y'all enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Till next time, thanks for watching.